Pam and Tommy, episode 8, titled Seattle, and of course this is the final episode of the 8-part miniseries. And for a final episode, I will say this, you know that feeling where when the show ends, the final episode ends, and you kind of have the reminiscence a little bit that, for this case, for the show, you're like, oh, there's not going to be episode 9. There's not going to be a season 2. It's in. It's done. It's completed. I watched it all. You know, maybe it's that sense of accomplishment. There's a sense like, hey, you've been there since the beginning. But the weird thing is, I didn't really have that with this episode. I'm not saying that as a disappointment by fault. It's just that weird feeling. And I think mainly because it's a story that they set to tell. And they told it in a very respectful way, knowing the subject matter. Because I knew there was going to be a little bit of controversy with the show just because it has a lighter tone than what people might think it would be. As is, most people would think the show would be just dark, crime, sociological horror type thing. While in reality, the show basically became, hey, we're going to take this, this situation seriously, this topic seriously. This is a crime show. And end of the day, there's about well-known people and about this well event that people know about, but we're going to take it. We're going to be serious. We'll lighter tone. We'll be heavyweight in these two. But it's going to have a lighter tone. And they're able to keep that there. And they kind of just told a story. I mean, this episode is all about the final nail in the coffin. This entire show is about... Listen, this entire show is yes, it's about the sex tape getting released. But it's also about stopping the sweat. Stopping the play. And this is the final piece of the puzzle of stopping, or at least eliminating most of the world able to see it. Stop 95% of people seeing it versus 5%. And because of it, you get this nice level of character development because they realize it is, when, he's the guy who released the tape, he's the guy who sold it, he's the guy who did this. And, in this episode, he has a sense of clearance. Realize what he's done is wrong. He realized, hey, I was there to punch Tommy, not Pamela, along with him. And, I mean, the show is named Pam and Tommy. They realize it is about their relationship, their struggles, how they're dealing with it. And it's just really well put together. The performances of Sebastian and Tommy Lee definitely... Lee James as Pam Anderson and their chemistry. You buy them as these two people who really loved each other with all these conflicts they had. And as much as Tommy has his anger issues, you can tell he loves Pamela, and you can tell Pamela loves Tommy. And with this conflict of this piece of paper, because you got this guy, the guy who's been having the sex scams, he's like, look, if you want at least 95% of the world able to not see your tape, because people are now it's free online, you can just watch it. There's no paywall attached to it. I would like to buy the rights to your tape. So there's a paywall, and 5% of people are going to pay for that, but 95% of those people won't do it because it's not free. And it's $30 or that kind of stuff. More with it's US, so $95 with taxes, all that. And here's the contract. But by the way, this guy is a plea out prick. By the way, this guy is a prick. He's the asshole business guy who's wearing a suit and tie, which is surprising knowing he's in the porn industry. If I think of the porn industry, I don't think of suit and tie unless it's in a office. Parody stit or something, I don't know. But the weird thing is, he is the asshole business guy, But you see, also business guy who has a point and who's kind of white. Like, you understand why Tommy wants to punch this guy in the face, because you want to punch this guy in the face, but he has a point. You know, limit the noise. Crush the noise a bit. It's not going to be a permanent, it's not going to be there, but it's going to be, you know, there. But it's going to be small. It's going to be 5% versus 100%. It's a big, you know, limited space of it. And Pamela's like, sign it. Oh, fine. I want it. Because all she wants is to have a career. All she wants is this thing to move on. She wants to move on from this. She's pregnant. She's about to have her first child. For the love of God, she just wants to move on, and it keeps haunting her. She's trying to get auditions for movies like LA Confidential and The First Austin Powers, but she doesn't get it because she's undercover hustler. Because of the tape. Because it's, you know, there's a paywall now, it's free, you know, and all that kind of stuff. She just wants to move on, and it doesn't help that Tommy is taking the piss out of the whole thing, because people are like, hey, got a big one, don't you? And he's like, now it's like, that's why I'm able to steer my dick with the boat with its own wheel. Boom, baby. And he's like taking the piss out of it, and he's being a real like macho guy, talking about maybe, I guess, even the sex tape itself. And your mind is like, well, is that kind of good thing he's able to take the piss out of it? But you realize there's also a sense of agenda thing where, like, Tommy can say it, but if Pamela took the piss out of herself about the tape, and about, I don't know, her saying, I don't know, if she said, oh, I don't need floaters because my tits are big. Like, if she did something like that, said something like that, people would be like, we know it, she's a stank, she's a slut, she's a whore, she's a, just a hot blonde show, and that's it. She's good in the eyes and nothing else. She's just shallow. And then, so Pamela's a little bit annoyed with Tommy, and he equals this great scene, like this kind of the final scene we see them two together, where they have this kind of argument, and you have the sense of like Pamela kind of being stared towards Tommy, because like Pamela's like, come on, just sign the thing. And he's like, no, they took our rights, they took our freedom, they violate us, they took everything away from us. And then Pamela is silent. Pamela is silent. And now she's annoying Tommy, because he's like, come on, just talk to me. Like, babe, just, can you just talk to me? Babe, come on, talk. And he just freaks out. And the moment he freaks out, it's like, Jesus. And, literally flips the table and throws things at the wall. Shows how both of them are willing to move on, or want to move on from it, but its own different ways. Like, he's, Tommy is like, yeah, it's out there. Yeah, it's a thing of the past. Well, it's haunting Pamela. And she just wants him to sign the damn thing. And it's really, I mean, the thing about that scene itself kind of does show, like, knowing the actual history of these two people, knowing how it becomes very toxic and very abusive, in a very abusive way, you have that sense like, okay, there's also a sense, there's hints of like what real life is about to come, and if you know, and so forth and so forth. And it's just focusing on, hey, it's about these two people. If you want a recreation of the TMZ video that came out in '96, where a paparazzi questions Pamela as a mom because she's out and about and, not with the child, and, starts like, where's your baby, where's the baby, where's your baby, all kind of stuff. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. Because it's not what it's about. This is a show that kind of set its goal and it told it. Maybe some episodes could be shortened. Maybe, like, some episodes could be cut out. Maybe. But, I would say, hey, this is a really solid show. maybe not the best of the year. Definitely has one really hell good performance in it, with Lily James being playing Pamela Anderson. But as a show and as this episode, it just told its story. It's kind of like the final few minutes. It's just like them saying, "Okay, we're done." And there's Pam, there's Tommy. They're now separate. They're no longer a thing. Here's the big, based on true story text stuff that we always get. And they call it that. I mean, this is a really damn good show. Episode 2 might be the one where you go and say, pre-warn guys with the whole